Is this a playground? Or perhaps an entertainment aqua complex? Actually, it's a residential house. This too is a residential house. And this time it looks completely ordinary. Who could possibly be amazed by a small modest house with a garage for 2 cars? You won't believe it, but these houses are among the most expensive houses in the world. Looking at this house, one immediately thinks of the owner's modesty. A regular bathroom, parquet flooring like my grandmother's, a 2-car garage, perhaps an American truck driver lives here. Oh, by the way, this house is currently for sale. What? 3.5 billion Hong Kong dollars? There are 2 oddities here. This is not the USA, and what kind of strange price is that? If converted to US dollars, it's also not very comforting. Almost $500 million, specifically 448 million US dollars. No, this is definitely not a truck driver's house. Oh my. I wouldn't even buy such a house for $1 million. Who is this person who went to such lengths? Let's look at its features. The house has 2 floors and covers 60 to 100 square feet. It has 5 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms, a living room with a fireplace, a separate dining room, a family room, an office, a dressing room, an island kitchen, a utility kitchen, a laundry room, a security room, and a 2-car garage. All rooms on the first floor open to a 7,146 square foot garden. The house also has an open pool with a sea view and green hills. Built in 1991, it is owned by businessman Zhang Yanfei, the founder of Hengang International, a company that manufactures sanitary pads and diapers. This house is considered one of the most expensive in the world when it comes to price per square foot. It is one of the rarest in Hong Kong, as it is a standalone house, not part of a residential complex. On the one hand, the house is in a quiet and secluded place, but at the same time, it is so close to the center. That's the secret. Experienced realtors often say that the 3 most important things in real estate are location, location, and location. There's nothing special about this house, but in Hong Kong, land is very expensive, and every square foot is worth its weight in gold. As we see, it's hard to judge a book by its cover. If you're not an experienced realtor, you're not always able to guess the price of a house. As they say, the rich have their quirks. From this angle, it looks like a regular children's aqua play zone, but if you look from above, it looks more like frozen bubbles in mud or clay. But no, this is a fully residential house. Yes, people actually live here. This unusual house is called Palais Boules, Palace of Bubbles. It is located in France on the French Riviera, near Cannes. It was built in 1979 by architect Antoine Lavagetto for fashion designer Pierre Cardin. Cardin, a renowned French designer of Italian origin, is known for his avant-garde style and space-age designs. He decided to build such a strange house because he was inspired by the idea of creating harmony between man and nature. He also wanted to express his individuality and creativity through the house. He believed that the Bubble Palace was a symbol of the future and space, as well as a reflection of his avant-garde style in fashion. If you had in mind the modern scientific model of the multiverse consisting of brains in the form of bubbles, then that's commendable. For reference, in string theory, or M theory, a brain is a hypothetical fundamental multidimensional physical object with a dimension smaller than the space it occupies, an extended p-dimensional membrane, where p is the number of spatial dimensions. The house consists of 28 bubbles connected by corridors and stairs. Each bubble has a round shape and windows of different sizes and colors. The house has 10 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a kitchen, a living room, a library, a home theater, a gym, and a pool. This building, if it can be called that, is surrounded by 21 acres of land with gardens, ponds, and fountains. Palace of Bubbles is one of the most expensive and original homes in the world. How much would you value such a house? Write in the comments. It is valued at $390 million US. This house took 14 years to build and became one of the most famous and unusual houses in the world. Home robbers are usually non-locals, otherwise they're quickly found. Imagine this scenario. Robbers drive past this shed or boiler room or, "Oh my god, what is this chicken coop?" the robbers exclaim and drive on. But we are not unrefined robbers, right? So let's stop and walk around this house. And what do we see? On the other side, the shed miraculously transforms into something incredible. The Cocoon house in the Hamptons is an unusual house built in 2019 by architect and designer Nina Edwards-Anker, who has the studio Nea. The house has 2 parts. The one that looks like a cocoon boiler room is fully clad in cedar siding, and the other, which is entirely glass, is open to light and ocean breeze. The area of this structure is 60 to 100 square feet and includes 5 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a cinema, a gym, a library, and a pool. Around the house are 7,146 46 square feet of land with a garden and a pond. The uniqueness of this house lies in its remarkable closed part on one side and full glazing on the other. Above the corridor connecting the spaces of the house, there are several light skylights based on Goethe's color theory. The shades vary from bright red to dark yellow. Those associated with sunset and rest are closer to the bedroom, while those that encourage activity are installed at the entrance to the living room. The Cocoon house in the Hamptons is one of the most expensive and eco-friendly houses in the world. It is valued at $448 million. It has received a LEED certificate because only metal beams and wood were used in construction, and natural ventilation is used instead of air conditioners, with solar panels installed on the facade. The American LEED assessment system, which stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, is the second most popular and one of the strictest eco-certification systems in the world. It is believed that this house allows residents to synchronize with the sun's rhythms as the glass part faces the sun. Would you like to live in such a house? I certainly wouldn't refuse. But the owner of this house initially built it for herself, her husband, her children, and her dog, and now rents it out for $4,000 a night. If you don't believe it, that's the going rate in the area. So sometimes a dream turns into a pretty good business. What does this remind you of? Hell? A garbage dump? Actually, it's the slums of Mumbai in India, and we will return to this, as unpleasant as it might seem to you. And what about this? Many would logically associate it with paradise. Indeed, Goa in India is one of the luxurious resort locations with stunning natural scenery and clean beaches. But want to see real paradise? For that, we need to return to Mumbai. This is the place. This 27-story house is called Antilia. It is named after the mythical island in the Atlantic Ocean, considered to be a paradise on Earth. The owner of this house, Mukesh Ambani, believes his home embodies this paradise. He specifically built a house that would reflect his wealth, status, and taste, arguably, and be unique and unlike any other house. He wanted a home that would provide him and his family with comfort, security, and entertainment. This massive building is home to a family of 6. Mukesh Ambani, his wife Nita Ambani, and their 3 children. Mukesh's mother, Kokilabin Ambani, also lives with them. Additionally, about 600 employees work in the house, serving the house and its residents. That's about 100 per person. Amusing. According to Reliance Industries, the construction of Antilia costs $70 million. Today, it is valued at $2 billion, making it the most expensive residence in the world. And if you ask what it's like living in the slums nearby the world's most expensive house, surprisingly, locals say the owner is a good person and everyone should have their place. Although locals are indifferent to the neighboring wealth, the house is very well guarded. A real military armored vehicle is even stationed nearby. Okay, we get it. If you're obsessed with wealth, you build the most expensive building in the world. But what if you're obsessed with ecology and want to minimally interfere with nature? Look at the room you're living in, not the apartment, the room. If it's about 10 and a bit feet wide, congratulations. You can imagine what one of the narrowest yet expensive houses looks like. An elderly eco-activist couple in South Africa contacted the studio Frankie Papa's. The studio's architects used laser scanning of the terrain to create a 3-dimensional landscape model, ensuring not a single tree or bush on the site was damaged. The owners of this house wish to remain anonymous, so their names are unknown. Only their dog's name, Barney, is known. They also haven't disclosed the cost of building this house, but estimates suggest very expensive. This very narrow house in South Africa was built in 2020. Located in the Waterberg National Park in a dense forest, it is only 10.8 feet wide. I suspect the key factor here wasn't the owner's eco-obsession, but the park administration's conditions. It's known that construction is usually prohibited in parks. It's scary to think how much just building approval from authorities cost. Probably a bribe was involved too. The house consists of 2 wooden bridges connected by brick supports that mimic sandstone rocks. The house has a living room, kitchen, dining area, office, patio with an oven and pool, and a 4-meter-high fireplace above the forest floor. It also features light skylights based on Goethe's color theory, changing shades depending on the time of day. The house has its power supply, water purification and ventilation system, and is not connected to city utilities. We're looking down at this project, but where is the house? In fact, what you see is essentially the house. Yes, from above it looks just like a lawn, but in reality, it's a huge and very expensive building. This private residence, oddly named An N in the Moscow region, was designed by Alexander Ehrman's Architectural Bureau and the Berlin studio J. Mayer H in 2020. The house has an unusual shape, consisting of several volumes interconnected. Located on a triangular plot surrounded by century-old pines, it harmoniously blends into the natural landscape. So naturally that from afar and from the air, it's hard to tell there's a house there. Unsurprisingly, it has a green roof. Green in the sense of being covered with living plants. This roof improves the microclimate inside the building. The main materials in the interior are concrete, glass, wood and metal, emphasizing the modern character of the house. The house also features various decor elements such as paintings, sculptures, carpets and pillows, adding color and life to the rooms. The house has 2 floors with different areas. The first floor has a living room, dining room, kitchen, office and guest bedroom. The second floor has the main bedroom, children's room, library and cinema. The house also has several terraces for enjoying nature views, sunbathing, reading and dining. It is surrounded by a beautiful garden with fountains, sculptures and decorative plants. It also has a pool, gym, sauna and garage for several cars. One naturally wonders about the need for such secrecy. What does the internet say about the owner? Maybe it's James Bond or another secret agent. The most that can be found is that the owner is the founder and owner of the company AVK, involved in real estate development, construction and landscaping. AVK was one of the major contractors at the luxurious residence of former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych in Mezhyhirya. Well, in some countries, it's better not to know the owners of houses for a sound sleep. The official price of this house is unknown, but some estimates suggest it could be worth several $100 million. The house offers high comfort, security and technology levels. However, it's hard to stay anonymous if you want to sell a house. Russian billionaire Vladislav Doronin, founder and owner of the Aman hotel chain and the development company Capital Group, wanted to make an unusual gift for supermodel Naomi Campbell, whom he was dating at the time. He commissioned a project from Zaha Hadid in 2006. This is the only private residential house in the world designed by the famous British architect. She passed away in 2016, and the house was completed in 2018 in the elite settlement near Moscow. He asked Zaha to create a house that would offer a view of the clear sky, being above the treetops. For this, the architect invented a sort of captain's cabin, which became the highest point of the house, almost 118 feet above the ground level. The house in Bavicha reflects her characteristic style, combining futuristic, dynamic and organic lines of a spaceship. Hadid was inspired by Russian avant-garde, especially Kazimir Malevich, and the architecture of Anthony Gaudi, who harmoniously integrated his buildings into the natural landscape. The architect aimed to create architecture that didn't just stand in place, but seemed to move, fly and live. The price of this house is about $75 million. It is one of the most expensive real estate objects for sale in Russia at the moment. The house was put up for sale in 2018. Essentially, it is being sold at a price lower than what was spent on construction. However, real estate market experts consider the house's price unrealistic, not matching actual demand. Honestly, it's not entirely clear what they base their assessment on, as the house is unique and cannot be compared to anything similar. Probably it's just the real estate market situation, where expensive houses are a dead weight and don't sell. Sometimes looking at a real estate object, it's hard to understand where such a crazy price comes from. And you think, why bury such crazy money in real estate that you can never get back? That's all for now. Bye-bye.